Welcome to Shutter Sport Girl Talk, your home for all things women's sports. Whether it's chatting about our own experiences as industry professionals or gossiping about the biggest leagues, we want to break into the conversation. I'm your host, Katie LeBoutillier, and today I will be bringing you through everything you need to know before the Four Nations Face-Off kicks off tonight. So welcome to A Girl's Guide to the Four Nations Face-Off.
It's me, it's Austin.
Okay, you know what? Before we get started, happy 10th episode to this podcast. I didn't even know how many episodes it would be, but hey, here we are. I feel like 10's a good benchmark. If I can stay consistent enough for 10 episodes, I think we're in a good spot. So but back to the face-off. We are going to start off with a general breakdown of what this tournament is and how it's going to work. So the Four Nations Face-Off is a tournament that features NHL players playing for their home countries of Canada, Sweden, Finland, and USA. Those are, in Sidney Crosby's words, the Four Nations facing off. If you haven't seen the ad, you need to go look it up. It's so funny. He has two lines and they're the same line and he just says it twice. And it is Four Nations facing off.
Four Nations facing off.
This tournament is taking place instead of an All-Star game this year, and so right now the league's on break, usually All-Star game, All-Star weekend, obviously, but instead we have the Four Nations face-off, which as much as I like an All-Star game, I think this will be entertaining and I'm looking forward to it. So the face-off kicks off tonight, February 12th at 8 p.m. with Canada playing Sweden in Montreal. USA and Finland will face off tomorrow in Montreal, and then everyone gets Valentine's Day off. I wonder why that is. Just for fun. And then everyone plays on Saturday, and that is when Canada plays USA and Finland plays Sweden. So a bit of like a rivalry day. And so you won't want to miss Saturday. Lock in for that. Finland, USA at 1 p.m., Finland, Sweden at 1 p.m., Canada, USA at 8 p.m. So marquee matchups over there. And then after that, everyone travels from Montreal to Boston to finish out the tournament. And Monday, all the teams will play their final game against the team that they haven't played yet. And the two teams with the most points, which I will break down in a second, will play in the championship game on Thursday, February 20th. And just a little tidbit for all of you guys, I will be watching while I recover from getting my wisdom teeth out. So next week's episode will be pre-recorded because I'm getting my wisdom teeth out and I don't want to record a podcast like that. Not excited. Anyway, so on to the tournament format. As I just kind of went through, every team plays all three other teams. And then teams earn 3 points for a regulation win, 2 points for an overtime or a shootout win, and 1 point for an overtime or shootout loss. This is what the P2HL does as well. I love this point breakdown way more than the 2, whether you win in overtime or not. Because, I don't know, I just like it more. I like the 3 for a regulation win. And again, the 2 teams with the most points after the 3 games will move on to the finals. So it is a very quick tournament. Everyone just plays everyone once. Because obviously there's only 4 teams, so it's pretty quick. And they all got to get back to doing their actual thing with the deadline coming up in the NHL. So it's just a little fun break, and I'm really excited. So, if you can't tell, despite this being an international, mostly it's only 4 nations, but international tournament, the game will be played with all the rules in accordance to the NHL, with the exception of how overtime works. So, overtime will be 10 minutes in round-robin games before heading to a shootout. However, in the championship game, there will be no shootouts, just sudden death overtime until a winner's decided. I like this. Okay, I get why they do this, because obviously you don't want to lose a tournament on a shootout, and they switched the World Juniors to be the same in the finals, not in other playoff games. But personally, I love a good shootout. I don't know, maybe that's just the Mighty Ducks fan in me or something, but I love a good shootout. And even when I was playing, I didn't care if I lost in a shootout, because I don't think I ever lost in a shootout, TBH. But I love participating and watching shootouts. My parents don't get it. They don't get the shootout, how it works now. Everyone going in so slow, it's not just quick shots, which I hate. This is a rant, but I hate when people just go in on a shootout or even a breakaway and just take a shot. Can you please deke a little bit? So I'm a fan of the Trevor Zegras style, going in slow, puck handling until you just so nonchalantly put it over. Listen, Zegras just had a really nice shootout winner. Refer to that, because that's how that's not how you have to do it. I usually go in with a little speed, 1 or 2 moves, and then and then put in the net. But anyway, that's my shootout rant. Is I'm a fan and I like how they're done now. So I'm not going to take you through every roster of every team because, like, that's just me reading names and I feel like that's not that interesting. But instead, I will be letting you know who on what team I low-key thought was from somewhere else until these rosters were announced. And I've seen a lot of these going around on Twitter, so I know I'm not alone. But starting off with Canadians that I definitely thought were American. Firstly, Travis Konechny. I don't even have a note on that. I just totally thought he was American. Same with Braden Point. I think I get a little confused when they play in the States, which, like, I shouldn't because, like, obviously Canadians play for American teams. But, like, Braden Point plays in Florida, and you're telling me he's a Canadian? No thanks. No, I'm kidding. Love Braden Point. Glad he's on our team. He's really good. Same with Josh Morrissey. He plays in Winnipeg, though, so, like, I don't know why I thought he was American. But I also don't claim Jordan Binnington as a Canadian. That's a whole different thing, though, and we're not going to get into that. Now, Americans I thought were Canadian. Kyle Connor. And I actually think this is like a Mandela effect with him and Josh Morrissey. I thought Morrissey was American and Kyle was Canadian. Maybe in another dimension that's how it worked. I don't know. Anyway, Matt Boldy. Now, this is probably just because he plays in Minnesota, so he's like an honorary Canadian. But I knew he was American, actually, because, like, I knew he played in the USNTDP. However, he just gives Canada vibes. And then maybe I have an issue with Winnipeg players because Connor Hellebuyck also gives Canadian. I know he's American, but he just, like, gives Canadian. And I think if you play in Winnipeg, you're, like, an honorary Canadian because, like, who would go play there? It's a little Winnipeg hate. Also, if on the topic of Connor Hellebuyck, if you have not seen him in the team photo, take this time to, or if you have seen him, take this time to giggle with me. You're in on the inside joke. If you haven't, go look it up because he just has no neck, and it makes me laugh. Also, there have been some guys filling in late for injuries. I only have 2 guys here. I'm sure there's more. But just like a quick note, Drew Doughty is in for Alex Pietrangelo for Canada. So check that off on your roster. Drew Doughty, he's a fun player to watch. And then Sanderson is in for Quinn Hughes. My Shayla, no! Oh, Quinn Hughes. That team would be so much, like, as I love Sanderson, but, like, missing Hughes is, like, a big miss. And he could have played with his brother that he doesn't get to play with. I wish Quinn was healthy for obvious reasons. I just like him as a player. But I'm as a Sens fan. Go Sanderson, yay! But yeah, those are 2 guys who are out. Pietrangelo for Canada is, like, not, like, he's good, but, like, that's not that big of a miss. And I like Drew Doughty, but missing out on Hughes is big. So with that, some key storylines. Whether they're predictions, things to watch, or just, like, kind of funny things, because there's been some funny things going on with this tournament, which I think it's good for PR because, like, the NHL players are so boring, and so, like, throwing them in with, I don't know, like, McDavid's just, like, a boring guy, so having him, we'll get to that later, but, like, I think there's actually just been some, like, fun and entertaining storylines that have come out of this tournament, and I think it's really good for the NHL because they're really, really boring. So, first thing, this is an actual thing to watch, like, when you're watching the games. The Canada power play is looking insane. They have McDavid, McKinnon, and Crosby, and then Reinhart and Makar. That's going to be a crazy power play. You will not want to take a penalty against Canada because I'm not saying they're going to go 100, but, like, they will score on you. So that is just, like, going to be something to watch. If you're a Canadian fan, it's going to be something amazing to watch and should work out very well, obviously, for them. And if you're not a Canada fan, watch out. Still on the Canada roster, Jarvis, Point, and Marchand on a line. So Seth Jarvis, Braden Point, and Brad Marchand on a line together. I think it'll just be so entertaining. The combination of Jarvis and Marchand is just so funny to me. And on that note, Seth Jarvis is just so funny to me. I literally love that man. He's so funny. Just, like, constantly yapping. He's the reason I love the Carolina Hurricanes. Like, their social media team kills it, and it's because they have guys like Seth Jarvis to, like, interview and talk to, and he's just so funny. He just makes me giggle. But on that note, Jarvis is seated in the locker room between McDavid and Crosby, and I honestly, like, I was racking my brain, like, number-wise. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, last name-wise, like, how do they pick who you sit next to? Because, like, it's not lines, it's not numbers, I don't think. What number is Seth Jarvis? Yeah, no, that's what I thought. He's a low number, so that doesn't. Listen. I don't know how they're seated next to each other, but it's so funny. And Jarvis said in an interview that it's the best seat in the house. And just know while you're listening to this podcast, Seth Jarvis is somewhere in Montreal, just yapping Crosby's ear off. He's got like his father figure, and then his like cool uncle next to him. Oh, it makes me giggle the thought of it. Okay. And then, like I said already, another like thing to watch, Canada USA on Saturday is very likely a finals preview unless Sweden can kind of get something going. Finland's kind of like the unanimous like fourth place maybe. I don't want to say that, but I mean all of these will probably be good games. Like the thing I'm most excited for is all these people who play together on their teams in the NHL are like playing against each other, and I think there's just gonna be like a lot of good clips. Like all these games are must watch, but Canada USA is always like a must watch. Okay. Also, a little note on Sweden. Their defense I think is just gonna be like locked down. Like most of their leadership group is D, and they've just got some great experience on D, and I think that can kind of be what like steals this tournament for them if they go on like a run. I do think Canada USA will be the finals, but I wouldn't be surprised if like Sweden locks down on D and gets some goals going for them. So I think that'll be something to watch, is their defense at least. And then on that note, USA's goaltending is literally insane. Hellebuck, Ottinger, Swayman, hello. As a Bruins fan, Swayman, eat that up. Love Jake Ottinger, and then obviously Connor Hellebuck's great too. Like I think this team will be so hard to score on because I don't even know who's going to be their one. Like could be any of them at any time. So if they do go to the finals, it'll be really interesting to see who they pick for that one. Probably it'll be interesting to see who gets the start against Canada too, because that'll probably just be who they use in the finals. Who knows? But keep an eye on their goaltending and see who they pick for all those, because like it's a tough decision. They're all really good, and I think it'll be really hard to score on USA. Also, their forwards are crazy. Like obviously they have Matthews. They have obviously they have Austin Matthews, Matthew Tkachuk. That was confusing because there's just too many Matthews going on. Jack Eichel, Kyle Connor. Guys, there's too many like Connor Hellebuck, Kyle Connor, blah, 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 blah. USA, well, obviously they're all American. They have the same name. Jake Guentzel, and then I like Brady Tkachuk, Matt Boldy. Larkin on your fourth line is like, you're pretty deep when you have Larkin on your fourth line. But what I'm most excited for is to see Austin Matthews and Quinn Hughes play together. Jack Hughes play together. That, I think, I don't know. Like, it's not a line I picture in my head for some reason, and I just feel like it'll be really interesting to see how they work together. They're both obviously great goal scorers. And then they have Jake Guentzel on their left, so I don't know. Obviously their top line, Matthew Tkachuk. Yes, Matthew Tkachuk, sorry. These names, it's too early. These names are confusing the hell out of me. Matthew Tkachuk, Jack Eichel, and Kyle Connor on their top line is obviously going to be a line to watch, but I'm really most excited, I think, for Guentzel, Matthews, Hughes line, because I just think they'll cook some stuff up over there. And obviously Matthews with the C. How about it? Also, if you have seen his media day pic, his hair, he needs a stylist, I fear. Okay, and then another thing on the USA's lines is the Tkachuk, Miller, so Brady Tkachuk, JT Miller, and Matt Boldy line. I just think these guys will gel well. They're all kind of like some like gritty, big like guys, and I don't know. I feel like they'll play well together. I don't know how many goals Brady can score and Matt can score. I just don't. Guys, I'm off the JT Miller train for obvious reasons. Crazy that he's even going to this tournament in my mind. But I do think that line will be very interesting to watch and probably quite entertaining. It gives the same vibes as the Jarvis Point Marchand line, and I think they'll probably end up slotting against each other a little bit. But yeah, that's about all I have for like my interesting storylines that come from my own mind. However, there's a lot of funny stuff going on over on hockey Twitter right now. And my favorite is all the Photoshop that's going on. Also, the NHL posted this picture of like the Four Nations face-off starts tomorrow, and it's like AI. It has like Sebastian. Oh no, it's not Sebastian Aho. I don't even know who that is. R.I.P. Riding a lion, and Austin Matthews like flying from his hockey stick while a bald eagle like holds his hockey stick. Oh, it's an insane image. And then someone like obviously clipped a picture of Matthews flying through the air on an eagle and said, "So if you care to find me, look to the western sky." I think I do too much singing on this podcast. But anyway, that made me giggle. Also, just someone photoshopped all the players into the Great British Bake Off kitchen and said Four Nations baking off. And that gave me a good giggle. That was a funny one. Guys, the Four Nations Face-Off is trending on Twitter. Go join the conversation at Shuttersport Media. Also, are some people, like, not excited to watch this tournament? I think some people hate it. I feel like I've heard that. What if I said I was excited to watch it? Like, I don't know. I do think it's a big, like, media thing, obviously, and it's maybe not done for the right reasons, but I'm excited. It's best on best, and for the most part. Like, obviously, there's some countries that are not involved, and we'll probably never see Russia involved in any international tournament again, even though they're very, very good. But I'm excited. I don't know. I think even if it's not the four best nations, it'll be a lot of great players playing against each other, and I'm hype. Okay, here's the real guideline to whether the Four Nations face-off actually matters. We go, did Canada win? If yes, of course, hockey is Canada's sport. This is a great tournament. If no, it's not a real tournament and it doesn't actually matter. And that's how I feel. No, I'm kidding. I feel like, I mean, obviously it's between Canada or US, which like always, but like, go Canada. Okay, this is a great tweet. You better not be Jose Saros looking beautiful in his Four Nations face-off Team Finland headshot when I get here. And then it's just a picture of his headshot because he does look beautiful. Also, people hating on the tournament when the players are literally so excited to play in it. Like, I don't know. At some point, we have to listen to what the players like doing. Like, a lot of them don't like the All-Star game, and they decline going. But we really didn't see many people decline going to the Four Nations face-off. Like, they're so excited. Like, Marchand literally said, I could be filling up water bottles. I don't care as long as I'm there. Like, that's so... Like, they're all just excited to be with their friends. Like, it definitely throws them back to juniors, and they're, like, really excited about that. Also, this quote from Mika Zibanejad. I've said this before, I don't think my personality comes out as clear in English as in Swedish. I think you kind of get to be yourself a little more in Swedish, and I think you can tell by my face how happy I am to be here. Oh my god, they're all so... I don't know, they're just all happy, guys. Let them play. Also, there's 8 Florida Panthers in the tournament. That's just kind of crazy. The Florida Panthers are so good. Someone said the Four Nations face-off should just be a 4-way capture the flag tournament. And I'm sure if you've like you're on hockey Twitter at all, you've seen like the picture of like the proposed like ice where like they all play each other at the same time. Like there's 4 nets. That would be so funny. But obviously not gonna happen. It's just like another little thing to giggle at. The end of this podcast is just giggles. Giggles for me, giggles for you. Me reciting tweets. Hopefully you find them funny. Speaking, I spoke of Russia earlier, and someone like projected the Russian lineup if they were to be in the tournament, and oh my god, they would be so good. Listen, I get why they're not allowed for sure. However, it would just be so much more, not more entertaining, but it would be so entertaining. And even them in the World Juniors, like I low-key miss, like they were, I don't know, it just made for good games. Like the Trevor Zegras game winner against them when he just like stares down their bench, like the dramatics, I miss it. Like they just made for good games. Whatever, it's probably never going to happen again. Fair enough. But I do miss watching them play hockey. Also, the photos of Brock Nelson. Sorry, this is like a crazy switch up. The photos of Brock Nelson. Look, he looks great, honestly, but he also looks really old. It's the gray hair, which eat it up. Like wear your gray hair. I'm literally already going gray, and I'm 19, so like I'm not judging. However, he looks like an old. It's okay. But also people are hating on him. No, I like Brock Nelson, but they're like they got Unk at the Four Nations face-off instead of Cole Caulfield and Tage Thompson. Also, yeah, Cole should probably be there. He's been crazy this season. But yeah. Also, this is a personal opinion on the Bedard thing. Bedard's not there. I get it. He's 19. This is the first year of the tournament. Like, it's a lot of older guy. I don't know. I'm fine with it. People are like outraged. I get that he's really good. He is. But he will have more opportunities to play for that team. And I don't know. I mean, it would be really cool to see him play with Crosby, obviously. Like, that would be really cool for him, too, I'm sure. But I understand why he's not there. And I'm not one to be like, if they lose, it's all because they didn't have Bedard. Like, no, okay? I can't wait to see him and Celebrini tear it up in, 2 years. So, because I do think this tournament will stick around. I think it's going to be a great success this year, to be honest. And on the young kids playing really quick, I did not know Leo Carlsson was in for... Where's he from? Where is that kid from? Yeah, Sweden. That's what I thought. No, it's not. I low-key thought Finland. Anyway, I did not know Leo Carlsson was in for Sweden. He's just so young, and I just didn't know. And then I saw a picture of him there, and I was like, oh, go off, King. I'm not a Ducks fan, but I love their roster. And by that, I mean, McTavish, Zegras, Carlson, Jamie Drysdale. Anyway, okay, this has basically just been me yapping about hockey for not even 20 minutes. This is not a good podcast, but I hope it did inform you a little bit and at least get you in on some of the inside jokes and tell you a little bit about what's going on. I feel like there was one other thing I was going to say, but it's totally lost. It's out of my mind, and I could have prepared better for this podcast, but that's okay. Hopefully you still learned something, because that is about all I have on the Four Nations face-offs. I hope this helped you get ready for the tournament at least a little bit. Be sure to tune into the games over the next week, because I think this is going to be a really entertaining tournament. Again, everything kicks off tonight at 8 p.m. with Canada and Sweden facing off. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for listening to Shuttersport Girl Talk. I'm your host, Katie LeBoutillier, and I will see you in the next one.